Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. Our solar wind speed's coming in at 318.1 kilometers per second with a density of 7.1. Today we are still looking at AR 2757. It is sunspot number 18 still, and it is a member of solar cycle 24. Right now that is the only sunspot, even though we do have that bright region in the solar cycle 25 area that has not yet been labeled a sunspot. So one sunspot to speak of, AR 2757, and that is sunspot number 18. Our KP indice is sitting at a 1 with a 24-hour max of a 1, and TCI has remained unchanged at 2.89. Not sure if that's just been steady and consistent or if it's just not been updated at this point. Either way, we will continue to monitor this. All right, let's take a look at grandsolarminimum.com, our website, and check out some more space weather statistics. No coronal holes or anything like that either, folks. So right now the sun is pretty darn quiet. Let's take a look at some of the solar X-ray flux. Some slight activity from sunspot AR 2757, but nothing to worry about of any sorts. So still quiet. KP indices, you guys can see it's been pretty darn low as well. And then we look at the whole picture and what we have coming around the eastern limb, which is not much. Let's go ahead and zoom this in real quick. I can get things to work. There we go. All right. So that southern region, active region, actually is brighter than the actual named sunspot. That is just over the eastern limb and turning Earth facing. And again, no official number or label for this particular region as a sunspot. All right, let's take a look at a couple, well, actually one headline real quick before we go into weather, and this is weather related. A nearly stationary monsoonal low close to the Gulf of Carpentera is driving very humid air towards Queensland. The heaviest rains in the state's northeast and tropical coast. The BOM has issued several flood warnings on Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, as rains inundated streets and prompted school closures. The rains have finally ended the months of dry conditions across the state. And I was just looking at a couple of headlines from this area. Not too long ago, we were looking at summer snow, and now we're dealing with monsoonal rains. So talk about weather whiplash, back and forth, extremes from drought to snow to rain to fires. Australia has definitely been through the ringer thus far, ever since their winter started last year. So it has been a brutal 2019-2020 season for Australia, to say the least. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some weather across the pond for our friends out here in the UK and European nations. Right now, we've got some snow showers across parts of Ireland, northern Scotland, and also Wales, creeping into some parts of England as well. Some light snow showers. So this morning, cold enough for snow. Rain in France and Germany. Hello, Denmark. Henrik, anyway. It looks like you have more rain. I know you're tired of the rain, but some snow will be on the way later in the next couple of weeks. That cold air is finally making its way towards you guys, as it's been forever waiting for that snow and that winter to start happening, and it just hasn't been the case so far for you guys out there in Europe. In fact, I was looking at a snow coverage map, and all of Russia and Eurasia and the Middle East snow covered. But this area that I'm showing you right here is lacking the snow. Now, Norway and Sweden, they do have snow cover, but the majority here in the mainland of Europe, Germany, France, Spain, United Kingdom, not that much snow coverage. But let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast. Icy stretches expected for the north this morning, with wintry showers continuing in western and northern areas, mainly for high ground. Eastern parts of the country will stay mostly dry away from the far northeast, windy and cold. Tonight, showers continuing for western and northern parts of the east, easing from the southwest overnight, and winteriness increasingly for high ground and the northwest, staying cold and windy. So today, cold and windy with wintry showers. How about that? Wednesday, showers at first in the far north, but mostly dry elsewhere, becoming cloudier from the west with some rain developing for western areas, particularly western Scotland. Less cold than Tuesday. All right, so the weather pattern change is happening, and we're starting to get some mix of ice and snow and everything else that we should be getting this time of year. But like I said, when we get to the second week of February, we're going to start noticing a lot more winter weather in the region. Let's take a quick look at the United States. Well, right now we've got a little bit of a system in Kansas, Oklahoma, the Panhandle. Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota also have some scattered snow showers. Parts of Iowa, Idaho, and Montana getting in on the action in that atmospheric river that's occurring in Oregon and Washington as we speak. Also affecting parts of Northern California, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, getting some heavy rain as we speak. Some light snow showers across the Northeast in Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And let's take a look at our weather forecast here, what we have in store. Wind chill freeze. Well, first of all, there's your flood watches. Not very many in the UK. Thankfully, it's starting to dry out just a little bit. Here's the wind chills. Not too bad for January 28th, that's for sure. Pretty cold in the northern plains. Other than that, pretty average wind chills for this time of year. And that frost freeze line, well, it goes to the south. Not really crazy, but Tennessee, you're spared this morning. You guys are mostly above freezing, but everybody in north and above is in the 30s and 20s this morning. Very typical for this time of year. Let's take a look at our high temperatures for today, and much more like seasonal weather across the Midwest, the Northeast, and the Northern Plains. Across the South, very mild, I should say, 60s and 70s in Florida, the further south you go. And across the Southwest, also the second part of our warm spot in the United States, with mild weather across Northern California into Washington and Oregon as that atmospheric river continues to pound that part of the country. Low temperatures tonight, not too hateful as well. 20s and 30s for the majority of us, 40s and 50s in the south. And if you live in the Northeast in Maine, that is where one of the colder areas will be, and the negative values possible for the far parts of northern Maine. Also Minnesota looking pretty cold in the single digits as well. And here's what NOAA thinks is going to happen over the next couple of days. Well, today, not too terrible, but kind of a mess in the Northwest like it has been for the past several days. Some snow across the middle part of our country with rain showers across the south. And then we head on over to Wednesday. Kind of the same story, almost the same setup in the same areas on Wednesday. And by the time we get to Thursday, that system will move a little bit further east and pretty much dissipate, but more rain develops behind that system and re-fires up again the south. You will continue to see a wet pattern of showers and storms. Nothing severe, nothing too heavy, but again, we're going to be dealing with moisture. And I can tell you right now, the flood stages for some of these rivers near the Mississippi are already met or are getting ready to be broken. So the rain in the south is not really needed right now. And of course, the Northwest will continue to see rain and mixed precipitation over the next several days coming up moving forward. All right, let's take a look at our tropical tidbits forecast. And, you know, it's kind of the same old for the first couple of days on this forecast. We do have a minor system that weakens out and moves off to the East Coast by Thursday, January 30. Not much happening across the northern plains, some light snow. South has got some rain in Houston and Dallas. And then we start watching things here in the east. February 1st, we got a low pressure system making its way up towards the northeast. Some light snow with this one. But the coastal areas like I-95 finally might see a little bit more snowfall. Again, this is going to be 1 to 3 inches. Michigan, you're looking at 1 to 3 inches. Nothing too serious. And then we move into the second on Groundhog's Day, and there will be some light snow across parts of western New York, western Pennsylvania, and into the northeast. Northwest, you're still getting that atmospheric river that's throwing some snow towards the middle part of the country by February 4th. And then we have another system that moves across the Ohio Valley on February 5th. Just talking to my brother the other night, he lives in Dayton, Ohio, and he doesn't think they'll get any more snow. Well, think again, my friend. Here we got your system number 1. This should be a 3 to 5 inch system that moves through February 5th, goes into the northeast. That's round one. And then we get a minor system that comes through Michigan and the Great Lakes. Heavy snow in Montana and Idaho. And then this monster right here on the East Coast. That's right. North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina even. Parts of Georgia could see snow as the cold front will sink all the way down into the south. Once again, the Florida Panhandle will get in on this. I'm not rolling out a couple of flakes in the Panhandle of Florida as well with this particular storm. But this is the storm that we're watching, and this is for next week. So a lot can change. But right now, GFS has this system really cranking by February 7th as it gets into the mid-Atlantic states. Heavy snow for D.C., New Jersey, Philadelphia, Boston, Massachusetts. The East Coast is definitely going to get their first significant snow, and I'm talking about the I-95 corridor. And by Saturday, February 8th, that's some very heavy snow. We could see up to a foot in some locations here on this part of the country. Now, this storm has plenty of time to shift. It could go a little bit further east. It could go a little bit further west. At this point right now, the amount of snow that we're going to get is going to be along the I-95 corridor, and this will be the first big significant snowstorm of 2020 for those folks. As far as you guys in upstate New York and western Pennsylvania, this is just going to be a light snow event for you for now. This storm doesn't have to shift very far before we start seeing the heavier amounts. So the Berkshires definitely will get in on this action as well. This storm is a fast mover. This will be a nor'easter, so we could deal with some coastal floodings on top of all this snow as well due to storm surge. And then some lake effect snow showers to follow up this storm system on Saturday and Sunday, February 9th, before once again another low pressure system tries to get its act together, but this one races off into the Atlantic without incident. Believe it or not, dry days from February 8th through the 9th to the 10th for the Northwest as that atmospheric river finally wraps up. But fear not, there's more moisture on the way for the West Coast by February 11th. This time it's going to be affecting most of California. Does not appear to be an atmospheric river, but still appears to be a kind of a messy situation. And then you go over here to the Midwest, Ohio, and just like I was telling my brother last night, he is right there in that line of snow and rain. So a lot of time between now and the 12th. It could be a lot colder. This could be your second snowstorm, little brother, as the rain will move southward and the snow will stay just above that I-70 corridor, and we could see another light coating of 1 inch to 3 inches on the 12th of February before this thing gets cranking and goes up into the Northeast. Now, again, this is just an idea of what we could see down the road, but in the Northwest, I gave you guys a little too much credit. You got some dry weather, and then on the 10th and the 11th, we start seeing more moisture on the California side of things. Well, here we go again, back in the northwest corner, except this time the colder air will be in place, and this could be just all snow for you folks out there in Oregon and Washington by February 12th. So much colder air to affect the Northeast, the Northern Plains, and the Northwest. The Great Lakes is going to be on that fine line between like 35 and 36 or maybe even 32. So right now it's a little bit too far out to see if we're going to get any more snow across the Ohio Valley. But we do have a couple of chances for those of you out there who do like the snow. Sit tight. Your chances are coming. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another grand solar minimum update. Unless news is breaking, we will come through with a report. We appreciate everyone who tuned in this morning. And once again, we will talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.